This afternoon, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy threatened to pull all 5 of his choices from the Select Committee tasked with investigating the January 6th insurrection. It was something of a take-your-ball-and-go-home response to a decision by Leader Pelosi to reject Jim Jordan and Jim Banks, 2 big-lie Republicans, as part of that committee. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas. He served as an impeachment manager during Trump's second impeachment trial and is a member of the House Intel Committee. Congressman, always good to see you. Pelosi obviously took exception to McCarthy's choices. First of all, your reaction to today's news.
I think the Speaker made the right decision. I'm sure that for her it was a tough decision. But look, there has been a group of members of the Republican Party in Congress who, since January 6th, have been in denial about what it was, an insurrection, an attempted coup. Some that have spread conspiracy theories about who was responsible, whether it was Antifa or the intelligence agencies of the U.S. government, and people who voted against certifying a fair and legitimate election. And these folks, including the ones that she kicked off the committee or wouldn't accept on the committee, have been super antagonistic to discovering the truth. And as you know, there have even been reports that perhaps some members of the Republican Party in Congress were assisting those who were part of the insurrection, showing them around the Capitol and so forth. You got to make sure you have people on there who are going to try to get to the truth and not just spin false conspiracy theories and be antagonistic the whole time and keep you from getting to the truth.
Right, Congressman, to your point about being antagonistic towards the truth, I want to read you this statement from one of your colleagues, Republican Congressman Jim Banks. He says, "We said all along that this was a purely partisan exercise by the Democrats, and Nancy Pelosi's rejection of me and Jim Jordan shows once again she is the most partisan figure in America today. The American people deserve the truth. Unfortunately, Speaker Pelosi is afraid of the facts." I mean, you were there in the Capitol on January 6th. You know what happened. You lived through what happened. It's not just about getting to the truth. There are a lot of people who felt that they got to the truth during the first impeachment trial, the second impeachment hearing. What they don't feel like is that there has been accountability. Can you get to the truth? And even if you do, is the truth enough, or does there need to be accountability for those who took part in what happened on January 6th?
No, you're absolutely right. In the investigation, the hearings that the committee will hold, the goal is to get to the truth, to find out who was responsible, including whether there were members of Congress that were helpful or not. And then also, just as important, make recommendations so that this doesn't happen again in the future. So it would be an opportunity to do all of those things. But what you can't have on there is people who are in complete denial about what happened and then are trying to stop everybody else from doing their job of getting to the truth, holding people accountable, and making sure it doesn't happen again.
Right. So next week, the commission is supposed to have its first meeting. Can you give us a sense of where Democrats go from here?
I think they're going to continue. We're going to continue our work. We're going to do everything that we can to be fair in how we proceed, but also to make sure that the investigation is thorough, to make sure that all the facts come out, and that the country and the Congress learn a lesson from what happened on January 6th. You know, we keep talking about an insurrection, but this was an attempted coup. Right. These people were trying to stop the United States Congress from certifying election results that would put a new president in office. That is as serious a thing as you can get in a democracy. And we've got to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Yeah,
Congressman, I just want to underline the point that you're making there about what is at stake, the health of our democracy. I'm sure you've seen some of the recent book by our friends Phil Rucker and Carol Lenning, quoting General Milley as saying that the institutions might bend, but they won't break. I don't know. Does this seem to you like a functioning, healthy democracy?
Well, look, I still believe in American democracy. Obviously, I'm part of the Congress. But it doesn't mean that it's not under threat and that it isn't at a fragile point sometimes. And I do think this is one of those points, as Joe Biden said within the last few weeks. And there's so much misinformation out there, whether it's in social media or on other television news stations, such that people who are in denial of reality or spin conspiracy theories, those fantasies and lies are reaffirmed by what they're going on the internet and seeing, and then what they're hearing when they turn it to certain channels. And that's dangerous for democracy.